This is the most detailed frontal wig install tutorial, and it's the only video you need to watch. I'm taking you through everything step by step, and I'm not leaving anything out, so stay tuned. Let's get started. We're starting with clean hair, washed and blow dried so we don't use too much tension, and also clean hair is just easier to work with. Part the hair down the middle and then make 2 separate sections. And then I'm going to start my straight backs, but with a twist. Our very first braid is also going to serve as our anchor braid. The wig comb that is going to be in the back of the wig is going to go into this cornrow right here. So we're going to go straight back and then across the napes. Probably wondering about the size of the cornrows. The best advice I can give you is to make the size of your cornrows reasonable. It's going to vary from person to person depending on the density of their hair, but don't make them really big, and they don't need to be extremely small either. For example, if your hair is very fine, you may be able to get away with 4 cornrows, but someone with really thick hair, they're going to need maybe more like 12. When determining the size of the cornrows, you want to ask yourself whether or not the wig will look flat once you put it on, and that'll help you. After you do your anchor cornrow, you're just going to do regular straight backs. You can either braid all the way down to the end, or if you know how to connect the end of the previous cornrow into the next cornrow that you do, you can do that too. If you're not sure what I mean by connecting the ends of the cornrows, don't worry, I got you. I'm about to show you. So here I am connecting the ends of the cornrows. I wait until I get to a good point where I don't have to pull the end of the previous cornrow up so high that it causes unnecessary tension. I want it to go up and into the cornrow that I'm working on without added tension. Once that extra hair is in the cornrow, you just proceed as normal. It's just like when you're cornrowing and you need to borrow hair, same concept. Once we're finished braiding, we're going to tuck the ends away seamlessly. So I ended up with one end left over, and I'm just taking that and sewing it where it fits. I do apologize about this angle. I know it's a little weird, but I was in my zone and I didn't really check to see if we were in frame. My bad. Now I'm just going in with some leave-in conditioner. It's Mizani Miracle Milk. And now I'm going in with some 91% alcohol on a paper towel, and I am thoroughly cleaning her hairline. I'm removing all of the makeup, any oils, and sometimes I do this twice just to make sure that we're working on a clean canvas. Glue sticks the best to clean skin. Now I'm using Got2b gel to slick her edges back and out of the way. You don't need a whole lot, just use what's necessary. Now I'm brushing the hairs back with an edge brush, and then I am blowing them into place. I do use heat when I blow dry them into place, but I'm sure cool would do the trick too. It would just take a little longer. I'm using this regular wig cap. You can use pantyhose if you want, but I'm just using a regular wig cap by Dream. I'm making sure that it's well in front of her hairline, and now I'm estimating where the end of her frontal will be, and I am sewing the cap down there. That's the only place we need it. Now I am cutting her air holes out. I'm just making small slits and pulling her air through. We don't want to make this too big, otherwise the cap won't stick down right in front of her sideburn. And now that we have her ears cut out, we're going to go ahead and use our Ghost Bond Supreme right in front of her hairline. We want to make sure we're not putting this in her hair, but on her skin. And we're just going to go ear to ear. You want to go in with Got2b Freeze Blast Spray right in that hairline. It just helps give you a more melted look. I'm spraying it, and then I'm guiding it with my fingers by kind of rubbing it where I want it to go. Then I sit her under the dryer, and now that she's dry, I cut away all the excess cap. Please keep in mind that this is sped up, so I'm definitely taking my time. I'm being careful. I'm not going this fast in real time, and I am making slits in the cap to work in sections. Now that I have my section, I'm pulling it backwards away from the hairspray, and I want to make sure I cut it as close to where the adhesive was as possible. I'm pulling it back, and I'm also cutting as close to her skin as possible. I'm doing this for her entire hairline. Ideally, you don't want any cap left over that's not in the adhesive, but if there's like a little sliver that's left over, that is okay, because we can always just get that when we do our layers of adhesive. Quick question, please help me out. Should I always leave the bleaching and plugging portion for these types of videos to be separate, or would you like that tutorial included in this one, even though the video would be longer? Let me know below, please. Now that all the excess cap has been removed, I'm going to go in with some more of that 91% alcohol, and I'm going to clean her hairline. I'm going in with some foundation to tint the cap to something closer to her skin tone. Some makeup may have gotten on her skin, so I'm just going in with the alcohol on a paper towel, cleaning her skin, making sure that there's no makeup on there. Now I'm going in with my Ghost Bond. You want to put this right at the edge of the cap. This is going to be your melt layer, the layer that helps the cap melt into her skin and give more of that bald look. This is the tool I'm going to be using to spread out the adhesive. So I'm just spreading that out, getting it as evenly applied and as thin of a layer as I can get it. And then I'm just going to wait for it to dry clear. It's clear, meaning that we're ready for our next layer. So this is layer number 2, and we're doing the same thing. You can do however many layers you want to do. I suggest at least 2. I normally go with 3. When I do my second layer, that is when I start to widen the application a little bit, make it a little wider, maybe about an inch wide, just to make sure the wig has a good amount of surface to stick to. Just a reminder, this is what it looks like when it dries down clear. If it's not drying down clear, your application is too thick, you're applying it on hair, or the canvas was not clean, or your glue may be old. We're waiting for that last layer of adhesive to dry down. I am working on her wig. I've already plucked it off camera. I do that before I even start braiding down, but I'm just using my scissors as a blade in order to remove those combs that would be in the front and possibly cause any discomfort. I'm holding the lace up to her forehead to determine whether or not the lace is a good match or if it needs to be tinted. It is a pretty good match, so I'm just going to go in with a little bit of foundation. I didn't add any to my brush. I just used what was left over from when we put it on her bald cap. If you do need to add foundation, you're going to add it under the lace and concentrate in the hairline. To seal in that foundation, I went in with my Got2b spray under the lace and on top, and now I'm hot combing the hairline backwards. Now it's time to cut off the excess lace. I'm going to open and close my scissors as I move my hand up and downward. That is going to create a jagged edge. We don't want to cut straight across. A jagged edge is going to be more seamless. It's harder for us to detect a jagged edge versus a straight line. Once it's on your head, I mean. When cutting the excess lace, you want to get as close to the hairline as possible. It is okay if you cut some of the hair off. That's kind of inevitable, to be honest. So since we cut into the hairline, I did cut some hairs. So now I'm just removing those stray hairs so they don't get in the way. Our adhesive is clear, so we're good to apply the frontal. I do like to put it behind the adhesive just to double check that I have it positioned well and that it'll cover everywhere that I need it to cover. I'll just check to see if I need to move it a little left or right or whatever. And then I start applying it from the middle to one side and then the other side. I tap it in very lightly. I barely press it in until I get all the way to the other side and can confirm that, this is exactly where I want it placed. Because once you push it all the way in, if you lift it back up, it'll be a mess. So just be very gentle until you're 100% sure that is exactly where you're going to place it down. Now that I'm sure about my positioning, I am pressing it down pretty firmly into the adhesive. It's okay if the edge of the frontal is not exactly in the adhesive. All of that depends on your hairline. This is the spritz I'm going in with, Fantasia. I'm just spraying that across the hairline. Not too much, maybe just like a total of 4 sprays total. And then I'm using an edge wrap to go ahead and put on her hairline, and we're going to let that sit until it dries, maybe about 5 minutes, not too long. You want that edge wrap right in the adhesive. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to take off the edge wrap and I'm going to comb that hairline out. It's a little stiff just because of the spritz, but it'll soften up as soon as you comb it out. And then I'm going to go in with the tip of my scissors and I'm going to remove all of the excess lace. We're still going to try to cut as jagged as possible. So I'm kind of shoving the scissors, not shoving, I'm placing the scissors under the lace, and the tip of the scissors kind of tells me where the adhesive is. Anything that's not in the adhesive gets cut off. The spritz can kind of psych you out just a little bit and make it seem as if a piece that's not in the adhesive is. So you can pull at the hairline just slightly, pull it up, and it'll come up if it's not in the adhesive. You want to go in with more alcohol to clean the hairline of any excess product. This is the foundation that we're going to be using today. It's the Ruby Kisses. The tag is actually covering it. Sorry about that. But it's from the beauty supply store. I'm using that on a kabuki brush and I am applying that in her hairline on the lace. Depending on the type of lace or color of the lace, you may need a lot, and that is okay. Literally apply as much as you need for it to blend in with your skin tone. It should look something like this when you're done. And now we're going to start styling. She wants a middle part, so we're doing a middle part, and I'm going in with my hot comb. The hot comb just makes everything nice and flat so I can make sure the part is in the middle, and it's also going to help me in terms of placement for her baby hairs. To give her part some definition and make it pop, I'm going in with this small angled brush and I'm putting it in the foundation and just making a straight line in the part. Her part's a little crooked because I was trying to make sure y'all could see, but no worries, I'm about to fix it. Honestly, you could just use foundation to clean the part up, but I like to also go in with tweezers just for a more clean look. I'm getting ready to style, so I'm just going through and detangling her hair, and I'm checking the ends to see if they need a little trim before I go in and style. They did end up needing a little trim, just a little bit though. For her baby hairs, I'm just going to part away a small sliver of the hairline. I'm not going to make it too thick. Honestly, it's to your liking. So however thick you like, or however thin or thick you like your baby hairs, is how much hair you would section out for them. And I'm hot combing the rest of the hair back just so I can see better, and it'll just help me with my baby hairs. Just helps me stay organized. I like to cut my baby hairs at an angle, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm doing that for the entire hairline. I'm cutting it at an angle. Now we can go in with our pencil flat iron, or if you have a mini flat iron, that will work as well, or even just a really small curling iron. And we're going to curl going towards her face. So curl under. The setting foam I'm using is Nairobi. I'm going to be dipping my edge brush into it and using that to shape my baby hairs. If any of the hairs are too long, we can just go in and trim them. And if they don't fall in line, we can always just brush them back with the foam. After doing the baby hairs, you want to tie the hairline down with an edge wrap and sit her under the dryer. Before putting her under the dryer, I do like to comb all the hairs into place so that way when they dry, it's easier for me to style. She's nice and dry, so I'm just going in with some heat protectant. It's Icy Fantasia. I'm working that throughout the hair. Colored hair be acting a little crazy sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't want to get nice and sleek depending on where it's from. So I'm going in with some spritz to make sure the curls are popping and behaving. I didn't include too much of the styling portion because I feel like y'all don't really care about that. If I'm wrong, definitely let me know. If you want to see a little less of the styling portion, or even more, like let me know, because I'm really not sure what it is that you need. But I would assume that you're not watching this because you want to watch me style. So I just included a little bit. I also like to leave the band on until I am finished styling. So I'm taking the band off, and the baby hairs got a little messed up. Totally fine, it happens. So I'm just combing her hairline out because, you know, it's a little stiff because of the foam. No worries. So I'm combing that out, and then I'm going to go in and fix her baby hairs. But first, I'm going to go in with my hot comb and just adjust the hairline, give it a little volume, just because it helps me when I'm doing the baby hairs. So for the baby hairs, I used a little bit of the Got To Be gel, and then I'm also using the Got To Be spray. I'm just using a little of both. I know you can see some of the lace, no worries, I'm going to fix that too. But first we got to make sure the baby hairs are straight. So now that the baby hairs are together, I'm just going in with some more foundation right over top that lace. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Help your girl out. Talk to you soon.